Yo, what's up, everybody? How we doing today? Happy Wednesday. Hope you guys are having a nice afternoon so far. And as always, thank you to all of you joining me a little bit early here to hang out for the pre-show roll call. Jump into chat wherever you are watching. Say hello. We'll give as many of you a shout out as we always do. And just kind of go from there. But I'm assuming everything looks good. Everything is coming through sound wise, audio wise. Okay. All of my lights and switches are lighting up in the right places. So let's get it going. Q-Boy's hanging out over on D Live. What's up? Good to see you over there. Joe Elaine holding down Rumble. Hit that thumbs up button over on Rumble. And all the fam hanging out in the comfy bunker. Please jump into the chat and say hello over on pill.net. I see Patriot 714 and Delia down there in Arizona. Good to see you. HL Paco, Joe Elaine modding the chat, keeping everything super comfy for y'all. Lightspear and Floyd Due Diligence out there as well. Good to see you. Pip's mom across the pond in Wales, UK. Great to see you, Pip. Truth Teller 101 stopping by as well. We got Curious One. What's up, Jenny? Hope you and Lyle are having a wonderful day so far. What's up, R. Harrell? Popping by. There's Barb Robbins, never missing a show. Tweety52, good to see you. Too Quick out there as well. Monkey Toes 71. Hey, there's Lyle Packers 412. How we doing today, buddy? KG in the house. What's going on, my friend? Laurel Y repping the 412. Let's go, Laura. Ruby 317. Sig, your Dragon Slayer. Don Ritchie 17. Pat McFly. Good to see all you guys out there. What's up, Trick Pony? How you doing today? CB Joey down in Florida, sunny Florida. What's up, CB? Molon Labe Kaiman checking in from South Africa. What's up, Kaiman? Space Cookie. Good to see you on their way to a Mark Robinson for North Carolina Governor Meetup. Very cool. You have to let us know how that goes. What's up, Kaz? 1012. We got Florida Mimi out there as well. M1911 Zoom in the house. Good to be with you all again. Happy Wednesday. I hope everyone is having a fantastic afternoon so far. Good afternoon, Mr. Gerardo. What good good to see you, Hang 10. Norm, how you doing, buddy? John 121878 out there as well. Brian 1871 popping by. Good to see so much of the fam hanging out with us on this hump day broadcast. Down home, how you doing, sir? Range Pony in the house as well. Yes, yes, yes. All right. M the Painter hooking us up with a cookie. Says under the wire. Yeah, you made it just in time. As I watch the clock flip over to the top of the 4 o'clock hour, that means it is time to officially start our broadcast. We'll see you guys in a few minutes.
We will make America strong again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Y'all for tuning in, Patriots United, doing what we gotta do to win. Be addicted, the MS7, now we're moving in. And once we take over, we won't ever move again. Where we go on, we go all, I say it with pride. No, we won't run, we won't fall, we're right by your side. The demons have taken hold, but none of us will abide. Stand strong and stand bold, that's how we'll survive. 412 is the production. Monday through Friday, deplorable discussions. We're making it hard for the deep state to function. Every time they switch up the narrative, we debunk it. Adult hero is the power that's controlling the plight. With all you patriots behind them, cause we're all in this fight. So many rhymes for so long, but we're giving them sight. Trapped in the world of darkness, but we're bringing them light. You may even find yourself in a different life. A lot of us have, and honestly, that's perfectly fine. Because exactly where you are at this moment in life is where you're supposed to be at this moment in time. It's all by design. The patriots are holding the line. They must have lost theirs, thinking they're controlling our minds. So many trapped in mental prisons don't know they're confined. They're just slaves in the system till the roles are assigned. That's sad. The good news is that we're waking them up. They have monopolies on minds, but we're breaking them up. Everything you thought was news, they were making it up. When we ascend, all the tyrants won't be making the cut. Let them all burn in the hellscape they create. We the people already mapped out our escape. We hold each other by the hand as we all elevate and go to a different place. They can never get chased. When I look into the future, I can see that it's bright. When this history is written, they will see that we're right. We formed our own community and the circle is tight. But I expand the circle with every word that I write. The pen is sharper than the sword when you wield it with might. Why do you think they try to kick us off all the sights? These people hate America and punish us out of spite. We are the beacons of hope in the darkness of night. So let's go, strap in, yeah, get ready for the ride. Watch the water, we're witnessing the turning of the tide. Feel the passion and the fire that you got burning inside. Take the narrative they're feeding you and turn it to the side. We're alerted to the lies, replacing with the truth. We know the plan they devised, they're invading the youth. Now we're homeless and advised to start raising our boots. These demons all weaponized. Now we're raising our troops. Now we're raising the roof and sounding the alarm. Remember that it's always darkest before the dawn. Life is a game of chess. They want to use you as a pawn. You're only useful until you're not useful. Then you're gone, but not us. We're on the right team where we belong. Everybody is invited, so come follow along. We refuse to say things are right, knowing they're wrong. Adol Nero, take the mic and take flight, cause it's on.
And now, straight from the Steel City, it's your host, 412 Adol Nero.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us on this Hump Day broadcast. My name is Adol Nero. It is September 4th, 2024, 79, not a cloud in the sky here in Western PA. Almost ashamed to be sitting in my little closet office, but honestly, there's nowhere I'd rather be right now. Hanging out with my good buddy, Tennessee Homesteader today. What's up, Tian? How you doing?
I'm doing well, and I too have been remiss. I didn't go outside. I've been
Huh?
busy indoors, let's put it that way. Um, Pretty interesting, all the things that are going on, you know. All I have to say, it just prompts me to be more head on a swivel than usual.
Yeah,
The thing in Georgia today, um,
the shooting.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's still early, though, but I'm sure it's going to be played up to the hilt on gun grab from the camel toe side.
we've already started. Curls was giving her
Yeah, the typical.
a big
It's to be
fiver.
yeah, it's to be expected. So um, that's what they got, right? And whether it was manufactured or advantage taken, um, in the past it's gone both ways. It's hard to tell. It's almost impossible to tell with any reality because you're left with, oh, this is odd, a la Tennessee and the manifesto, right? Kind of thing,
Yeah,
as an example, right? Um, so, anyways, when you see all of this stuff and you see the high sch- the immigrants or immigrants migrant the illegals trying to get on school buses, sorry, you know, uh, they're you know that it's a school bus when you see nothing but children in there and it's yellow. You know it's a school bus.
yeah,
Anyways, so that and the apartment complexes and things of that nature. It's almost like it's going somewhere. We talked about that yesterday, right?
mm-hmm.
So here we are, another tug at your heartstrings, false flag. I feel really bad for the people that are injured, let alone the kids that were killed, and or the people that were just harmed in any way, shape, or form. But these bastards will use any opportunity or create one to use.
Hmm.
And whether they did or they didn't, it's lives that were lost add them to the other list of children that are affected.
Yeah, it's so frustrating too because the solution they always put forward is, you know, disarm the American people. And there's so many better ways of going about protecting children. I mean, we can go through it. We've talked about it
Yeah,
before in this show. I mean, having just some kind of armed protection in every public school, you would see these shootings
yeah, but
almost
they can't
completely
have that because that
disappear
it def-
instantly because these people that go to schools to go shooting, they go there because they know it's a soft target. There's not going to be any return fire. They're cowards. They're absolute cowards. So again, you have armed guards for politicians and celebrities and the rich, powerful, and elite. They walk around with their caravans of, men armed to the hilt with whatever they need to keep them safe. But for whatever reason, our children in the schools don't seem to be worth that same investment. And instead, they'll politicize the tragedy and use it to go after your God-given right to defend yourself. It's disgusting. It's pathetic. But again, there's a very large agenda at play here, and you see it through what we talked about yesterday with the complete attack on free speech, and what I think you said it yourself, Tien, during the conversation yesterday, is the only reason that this hasn't happened in America yet is that Second Amendment kind of being the backbone and the support structure for our First Amendment rights. So, you're going to continue to have direct attacks on our Second Amendment. So, because really that's the one thing that holds up the rest of our Bill of Rights is our ability to defend ourselves, our right to keep and bear arms. So, they're never going to have solutions outside of that, at least not the regime and the establishment.
no,
Um,
no,
that
no, no.
are
And if
pushing.
you just do the math, the number of people that own firearms and the amount of firearm related crime that actually occurs compared to the rest of the crime, let's say, and
Mhm.
then the actual crimes that occur with firearms that are of this nature, the assault on let's say helpless individuals, whether it's a school or a theater or whatnot, that kind of deal, right? Or a concert. How often?
Yeah.
Granted, any single time that it happens is tragic, but my point is statistically, confiscating every gun isn't gonna do it because there'll always be a gun available.
And not to mention the fact that statistics, I can't remember the exact ratio, but the number of crimes stopped and lives saved from the legal ownership of firearms far outweighs by a huge number the amount of crimes committed with them. The problem is that, when Joe Schmo stops someone from, mugging the old lady on the street or protects himself from something like that, you don't get a giant news story over it. The media doesn't fawn over the bravery of the law-abiding citizen with a gun. That just gets buried into the memory hole if it even ever gets out at all to begin with. But these school shootings or any kind of gun violence outside of inner city gun violence gets massive amounts of publicity because again, the media works with the Marxist regime in an effort to scare people into giving up their own
Justifies the means.
God-given rights.
Ends justifies the means. If you have to utilize the tragedy of a child, use it.
Yeah, that's exactly what they do.
And if you can't, if it's not available to you, create it.
Hmm.
Because
So
what's the flip side of that? What's the flip side of what just happened? And the tragedy of oh the children, oh the children. And forgive me, I'm going to be very sarcastic here. Oh the children, the poor children. We need to ban guns, but never mind the millions we're murdering every day.
Yeah,
or annually the ones we abort by the millions.
yeah, or the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands that get trafficked over the
Yeah,
southern
exactly.
border to God knows what kind of hellhole lives of abuse and essentially slavery that they're sold into right under our nose, right here in our country. So it's a total farce when these assholes get up to the podium after an event like this and like you said, tug at the heartstrings because to push for gun control essentially. There's no actual um
No, there's no
desire
actual solution.
or they don't really even care about kids. They use them as a meat shield for their terrible ideas
Yep.
uh, and their desire to
Well, the
disarm.
Christian school in Tennessee proves that.
Yeah,
Is they didn't they held on for dear life until it was leaked, and then they got after the people that leaked it, the manifesto or segments thereof.
yeah,
What's the big deal if you're so pro or so pro anti-gun and you want to stop this? Why not share this so people can see what potentially was the manifestation, no pun intended, of this individual to commit the crime? Because that's why they write a manifesto.
exactly. You can see the hypocrisy up and down these things, and you just have to look only a little bit further than what the mainstream media presents, or even just watch the mainstream media with a skeptical eye, and it becomes so obvious. But um, yeah, they're speaking to
You got
the
to go to Pinata School of how not to barf while watching TV.
yeah. Speaking of which, let's say hello to our good friend Drunk Pinata. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right.
Good, good. How was your show today? Anything interesting popping off on the Marxist news networks?
Well, I called it the NPC problem, and that's what we have because you have mindless people. They're accepting everything that's being told to them, and then you have the people that exploit them and absolutely know what they're doing is wrong, but they're doing it because either ideologically their goals align, as far. And I think this is why you have the people that seem stupid, and I guess they are because they're going along with it. So they just don't have the type of ability to describe, such as I'm having trouble with now, which is ironic. Um, just going along to get along. I mean, they're perfectly fine with that because it aligns with 80% of what their goals are. Then they're perfectly fine going with 100% of the propaganda. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And there's some sort of a calculation that they're making that they're saying I am perfectly willing to compromise myself to a point in order to get some sort of a financial benefit from this and what they're doing, that it also aligns with something that they want politically. And I guess that's enough to explain it. It doesn't have to be that they're stupid enough to follow it. It could be that they understand it and they still do it anyway. Um, and still believe it to a certain extent. And I think that's where the tricky part is. The problem that I have with that is that they are creating a uh, a bunch of NPCs that we know that live in the narrative matrix that believe everything about what's they're being told is being truth. I mean, I found a video the other day or yesterday, and we were showing it today about this guy who thinks that Donald Trump has an IQ of 73, that can't function as an adult other than the fact that he was given money, and that's the only way he's been able to function. That everybody who supports him is also borderline just above or below the level of IQ of retardation, and that smart people have gravitated towards the Democrat Party. And this guy said, "I used to be a Republican. I can't believe I was that dumb." And then he could just spews a bunch of nonsense about the various hoaxes and things like that. And but the way that they talk, it's in the same dehumanizing language that I've showed with some of these psychiatrists and doctors that they paraded around with the duty to warn stuff about 25th Amendment. I mean, the problem that I have with this is and why I think it's a problem is that you when you combine such conviction with people who have the right, I guess, desperation. This is where you create the people that are going to be the most ardent foot soldiers for if they ever try to do something which would be, I don't know, as re-education camps. Let's just put it that way. It's like I see a problem that there's actual people that would go along with this with no questions asked.
Oh yeah,
Oh, there
the
definitely
ones
are.
that are closing the gates or the doors, as we saw yesterday, right?
Mm-hmm.
In that video, remember the metaphor, right? The aspect of him slamming the door. Um, yeah, and it's interest. Well, I keep using the word interesting because they're exposing themselves. And when you said the NPC, Pinata, you're right. The interesting part is I go to video games and mentally, anyways, the aspect of when you have NPCs, some of them are just in the background, some of them are actually active, some of them you have to actually shoot to get to your. And let me rephrase that from the game's perspective, right?
Yeah. Good to clear that.
Well, I mean, no, I mean, if you're looking at the NPCs, there are different degrees of NPCs.
I'm not laughing at the fact
No,
that
no, no, I know, I know.
I'm laughing at the fact that we live in a society where even though like you were clear
It's
about what you
clear
were
what I'm
talking
talking
about
about.
to begin with, like we'll just triple clarify in case
Yeah, yeah,
fucking Bill Sommer over at
yeah,
Daily Beast is watching and wants to send the mob at us later. So yeah,
right.
I actually appreciate it. It makes me laugh that it's like we have to
That we have
constantly keep qualifying these statements like that was an analogy. We're talking that was in the context of a video game. That was a joke. That was like
yeah.
just the art of having a normal conversation anymore has to be like I don't know, presented in the right context. Otherwise,
Well, you have to
the
be
way our
PC.
society is.
Unfortunately, you have to be PC. That it's forcing you to be PC or clarify, right? That kind of
Yeah,
deal.
at least, yeah, put it out there.
NPC to be to
Yeah,
be.
it's just I'm
But yeah,
NPC. I'm
yeah,
not politically correct.
not politically correct. Exactly. That's the kind of NPC I am.
Yeah,
The diplomatic, yes. Politically correct, not necessarily. The two are different. Um, the what Pinata was also talking about is the aspect of the individuals. The one he was describing, which I don't know who it is, but or the one he's referencing, but these are the type of people that promote themselves by bringing others down. That's DEI right then and there.
yeah.
And I'm not saying I don't know what kind of ethnic background this person has. That doesn't matter. That's not the point of my comment. My point of the comment is if you look at what DEI does, it's not by help people promote. It's by bringing down others to the lowest level denominator,
Lowest common
common
denominator.
denominator. Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And
That's exactly right.
that's what this type of individual is. Oh, I was a Republican. Now look, I'm a Democrat and I'm much better than you are.
Which is
Right.
odd because you don't see a lot of people go from Republican to Democrat these days. I guess there's a few that just kind of get caught up in the mainstream, or I guess it's maybe like the more moderate Republicans that like
Or they were never Republican to begin with. They
yeah,
just
or just bullshit, yeah,
no,
altogether.
no, no. I don't mean that. Well, yeah, that one in particular. But I'm just saying the person that was on the edge. Let's say that they were more leaning libertarian from a perspective of being Republican, but leaning libertarian as fiscally conservative and socially liberal, right? Now they flip to more of the socially liberal because they were TDS on the other side.
Yeah, no, that's well said. Speaking of NPCs and like the kind of people this rhetoric creates, there's just this little clip that popped up. I don't know who this guy is, but he's doing man on the street interviews, asking people about Trump or whatever. I don't know. I watched a little bit of the full
Yeah,
video.
he's trigger. He's a triggerer.
Yeah, but he's out there, and then watch what happens. Like this, the most like beta dude you'll ever see just tries to run at him and attack him. It's so funny though because these people. I'll just let it speak for itself. Let me make sure my sound is. There we go. All right, watch this.
Because he's the best for the country. Because he's the best for the
Look at
country.
this weird guy.
He's never lifted a weight in his life.
They call us weird.
Are you really gonna hit me? Are you really gonna hit me? You want to go to jail for assault? You look like
What's wrong with the Democrats?
you look like Thomas Crooks. You look like Thomas Crooks. You're crazy. You better get out of here before you get your ass kicked. What a psycho.
What's wrong with the Democrats?
You're about to go viral, motherfucker. We got that on camera.
He's the best for the
Watch again the way he runs at him. Like, tell me you've never played a sport in your life without telling me you've never played a sport in your life.
country. Because he's the best for the
Look at this
country.
weird guy. He's never lifted a weight in his life.
They call us weird.
Are you really gonna hit me? Are you really gonna hit me? You want to go to jail for assault? You look like
What's wrong with the Democrats?
you look like Thomas Crooks.
Like, can you guys, have you guys ever seen a video? And granted, I know that a lot of
Go
us.
back to the running again.
Okay.
I want to see that again. Just fast forward.
Because he's the best for the
Look at this
country.
weird guy. He's never lifted a weight in his life.
They call us weird.
Are you really gonna hit me? Are you really gonna hit me? You want his life?
They call us weird.
Are you really gonna hit me? Weird guy. He's never lifted a weight in his life.
They call us weird.
Are you really gonna hit me?
He should have juded him right there on the spot, although he's standing next to a car, so it may not have been the reason. But it's like, this is a perfect opportunity. You sidestep and you just shove him. You
No,
just give him
all
a
he
little-
had to do was literally just put his arm out, not even a stiff arm, just put his arm out. He's running so out of balance
Yeah.
that he could literally just, all he had to do was touch him, he would have fallen over.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying is the aspect of the, like in judo, all you have to do is tap him in the back, just a little nudge, and he just goes plaster face down. It's like, oh man, what. And I don't think he's never seen a weight. I don't think he's ever seen a ray of sunlight either.
But
Pink shorts. I'm sorry, I would never, ever be caught in pink shorts.
I mean,
Salmon, even
it's
if
an
you think it's called salmon.
it's an interesting look for sure. But have you? I mean, I've watched a good bit of Man on the Street stuff, and to be honest, most of it is neutral to like Republican or right wing or whatever you want to call it, conservative leaning influencers. But I've never once seen a like Trump supporter get triggered by someone waving a Kamala flag and run an attack. I've never seen it once.
You won't either.
I've seen the left spit, throw stuff, scream,
Tear up the signs. You know.
yeah, like I've seen the other side do tremendous amounts of this stuff. I've never seen a single clip, not one, in my over 6 years of doing this, where you see the guy in the MAGA hat lose his cool just simply by passing by an interview or seeing somebody wear a certain shirt or hat or waving a certain sign. Not once have I.
Oh, we just looked and laughed because we said, "You're an idiot." We'll keep walking. Now, if they become aggressive, that's a different story. But you're right. From a perspective of being the initiator, no.
Yeah, I don't know. Have any of you guys out there in the live chat ever seen that happen in reverse? Because I have not. Not to say that it hasn't, but I've not. You would imagine you would, because if there was a clip like that, it would go viral to no end, and it would be used as a use that ad nauseum as a look at these unstable Republicans, these MAGA extremists, politically violent, whatever. So it's I don't know, but these are the kind of people that sit in their basement and jerk off to Rachel Maddow or whatever. Anyway, let's take care of our sponsor, and we'll jump into a bunch of stuff here today. I don't know what happened to Daddy Dragon. He's suspended on Twitter, which is normally I interact with him via DM on Twitter, so I wasn't able to get a hold of him on Twitter, and I sent him a message on Truth Social, which I'm not sure if he got it. I never heard back.
On the
So-
DM side, he's not very good at it. He's not very attentive to it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, he knows we have a standing, first Wednesday of the month appearance, but he might have some stuff going on. I didn't see him go live today either on his show. I was looking to see if he was doing his own show. So I don't know what he's got going on, or who knows, maybe, maybe he posted something that the British police force didn't appreciate, and they came and rounded him up. And I wish I could say I'm joking, but what we saw in Ireland the other day, I think it was Ireland, that teacher getting arrested for not playing the pronoun game with his student. Who knows? I mean, Daddy Dragon, he'd be one of the first people over in London, I feel like, to get into legal trouble over speech. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But anyway, if he pops in, we'll obviously gladly get him up on the channel. But with the climate in London right now and England, the greater British Empire in general, he might be laying low.
They have gone nuts. They're just as almost ready for the anonymous movie.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
getting
it's getting there. V for Vendetta is about to.
there. Exactly.
Yeah.
Holy, some of the stuff that's going on in the UK is crazy. But I keep saying, look over there because the river mirrors us.
Yep, absolutely. All right, let's take care of Earth Garden Botanicals. We'll do it quickly today. Earth Garden Botanicals, earthgardenbotanicals.com. Belushi says, I put on shorts for adult. Thank you, Belushi. They better be salmon or pink. That's all I'm saying. And
He wanted
yeah.
me to prove it by
Yeah.
showing. No. Never. Only Jolene can see what I look like.
It's so funny. All right, Earth Garden Botanicals. You guys, look, you know all about these products. You know all about Jolene up in Montana and how awesome this stuff is. CBD products. You got pine needle extract, fire cider, elderberry tonic, a bunch of teas to choose from. The insect repellent, the Happy Trails Critter Juice, all natural insect repellent. These products are absolutely amazing. Any of you guys out there that have tried them can speak to how fantastic they are. Promo code 412 gets you 10% off your order. So just go check out earthgardenbotanicals.com. Use promo code 412, get that discount. Say hi to Jolene. If you've tried any of these products, if you placed orders before, maybe you can just do me a solid and let people know in the chat your experience with Earth Garden, because I'm willing to bet it's been pretty much all positive. Because Jolene's amazing, and so is his company, and so are her products. So again, go check it out, earthgardenbotanicals.com, promo code 412. So there you go. That's our sponsor today. I want to start with this because I want to just make sure we get to it. It was a setup revealed most agents protecting Trump during attempted assassination were Homeland Security personnel who received only a 2-hour online webinar beforehand. So on July 13, 2024, President Trump was shot in the ear at a rally in Pennsylvania. The attempted assassin, Thomas Crooks, was seen staking out the area before the assassination attempt. Crooks somehow was able to carry a gun up on the roof, jump from roof to roof on 2 buildings, walk around the top of the roof, and then crawl up the metal roof before he started firing at President Trump. Here's what Senator Hawley included in his letter about this. He said, whistleblower allegations to my office report that the only training received by many Homeland Security agents reassigned to work protective detail is a single 2-hour webinar on Microsoft Teams featuring pre-recorded videos. These videos were not substantive, and their playback was frequently riddled with technical mishaps, leaving the Homeland Security agents ill-prepared for protect the mission which they were newly assigned. So the Department of Homeland Security refused the Trump campaign request for extra agents, and then the majority of agents who were assigned to the Butler rally received only a 2-hour online webinar for the training. Just kind of looking at this here. Let me see if there's anything else. Yeah, I mean, you get the idea. The point is that you could see it. You could see it in the way they couldn't even holster their weapons like when they needed to. It was completely pathetic. Anyway, just want to kick it off with that because I feel like the assassination attempt is not being talked about enough. The implications of the inside nature of it. You don't hear much from any of the committees or the task forces that are supposed to be investigating this. You could really tell they're trying to memory hole this as much as possible. This whole situation with the Trump assassination attempt. So I wanted to just kind of lead off the show, or at least the post-sponsored part of the show, with this, just to breathe a bit more life into the conversation, because this right here is something that can really kind of break the veil, um, in a way, right? This is one of those things that can really get people to be a lot more skeptical of who they listen to, how much they trust government, and can kind of bring down some of that, like I said, like that thin veneer of legitimacy that they portray throughout our government, the media, and whatnot. So something to keep an eye on here. A 2 hour webinar. A 2 hour webinar. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that.
Well, I mean, 2 hours, that's a lot because I trained with a Nerf gun. I could
Yeah.
fire off a whole bunch of Nerfs. 2 hours, amazing. No, I mean, I'm hoping that in seriousness, I'm hoping that we're looking at a scenario of keeping your powder dry for what you're finding out, and then that this becomes something like the October surprise or something of that nature. Maybe it's hopium, but it's the way I choose to look at it because both sides are quiet. I can understand the left memory holding it, but I can also understand that on let's say on the right, we already know. We don't know exactly how it transpired, but we already know. And the question is, how many of the people are you going to turn to believing, and to your point of the distrust, to no longer trust the media, in particular, the media. I don't know what the return is on that from a perspective of having to have your absolute ducks in a row. In essence, what I'm thinking is that the committees, if those that are investigating, if they're actually investigating, obviously, but that they turn it over to the DOJ. Now we know nothing's going to happen under Biden. We know that. But the whole point of being aired and turned over to the DOJ, because once it's there, it doesn't go away just because Biden is in office. Then
I mean,
Trump comes in office and it's there.
I just like, for me, it's even just like the narrative of it all. If you have something that alludes to it being an inside job, you got to get that out there, especially
Well,
ahead
yeah,
of
but
especially
it can't
ahead of
have
it.
them alluding to it. You can't have them alluding to it, right? But this is where you have the Bonginos and all those slow rolling it in that fashion. If
I'm
you
not
watch, yeah,
I'm not talking about Bongino
I know that.
or
I
right.
know that.
I'm talking about the people that actually have access to information in Congress, this task force. Like they should, if they have any inkling that this was an inside job, they should be going on with Bongino, on with Charlie Kirk, on with Jack Posobiec, or
They have
the
been.
War Room, and saying like, look, based on what we're finding, and without maybe giving away too much, just saying like this was not a lone shooter. He had help from the inside, because just even putting that out there is going to make the media lose their mind. They're going to have to come out and say these guys are conspiracy theorists. They're going to have to come out in full attack mode. They're going to have to hyperventilate over
They
it
can't.
and
They
try
can't.
to overreact. And people will remember that. And then when the time comes to actually show the receipts, you've got the media in a place of caught in another lie. And
But you
this one,
can't have that. You can't have that if the media wants it memory hold. They can't bring it up. They won't bring it up because they want a memory hold. Even if they were bring it up to basically say, look at the ludicrous nature of conspiracy theory and all of this, all it takes is a few people to start looking, and they don't want that.
well,
They
I
don't want that
disagree.
at
I
all.
mean, there was a couple congressmen that were saying like they did this and they did that in relation to this, and you already had like Chris Hayes from MSNBC quote tweeting and getting worked up over the fact that they were saying they did this. Just the slightest pointing at the idea it could be an inside job. they can't help themselves. And if you get these guys on the media circuit just alluding to that a little bit, MSNBC, CNN, they'll be forced to react. And it's going to create a conversation. They're not going to let it go. They're not going to ignore it. They won't. They don't have the
The majority
ability.
of the people don't get their news from there. The majority of the people that are watching the glass get it from the other TLAs, ABC, NBC, CBS. That's where they're getting it from. They're not getting it from MSDNC and from CNN. Yeah, there's a few that they have that on all the time, and are indoctrinated to it or tethered to it. But the majority, from a numbers perspective, gets from the others. They get it from the
All it
other
would take is I can't remember who's all on that committee, but Congressman X, Y, or Z goes on with Dan Bongino, alludes to it just a little bit.
They did. They
Donald,
have. Bongino had a. But
then Donald Trump retweeting that clip, and it's over. You know, every news network's going to have to cover it at that point.
They have done that. He's had Corey Mills and others. It has had 2 hour long shows with them, like a seminar. He has done that already. Bongino did, who has millions of followers, right? So he's tweeting it. He's got it on Rumble, et cetera, et cetera. The media is not touching it. Why is that? The mainstream, and I mean the mainstream. I don't even consider CNN and MSDNC mainstream anymore, because they're out there in weirdo land. The mainstream is the ABC, CBS, and NBC, right? Those are the mainstream, and those are the millions that watch. They're not touching it. They're not touching the subject. They're not touching Bongino at all. They don't want to bring it up.
Yeah, maybe Donald Trump needs to retweet something like
Yeah,
that.
I wouldn't be surprised if yeah, I would say that may be the trigger at the point in time. Timing is Trump's. I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to make up excuses from a perspective of justifying one way or another. I'm just trying to figure out as to, withholding the information can only really have two purposes. It's not advantageous to release it, or you want to hide it. And in a way, you want to hide it is not advantageous to release it. But I'm saying you want to bury it versus mask it until it's time. But I don't know. We'll see. As the saying goes, we'll see. Because if once Trump comes into office, how are they going to stop the DOJ? Are they going to do a January 6th burn all the evidence?
That's a great question. I don't know. Like,
Right? I mean, and that's the case.
He's gonna have to clean so much house in the DOJ to get it.
Well, they will be. They will be doing it. I'm sure. Let me put it this way: who's to say there will be the DOJ that does the investigation? What if it's handed to JAG? The Congress did the referral to the DOJ, and if we remember correctly, and then this was an assassination attempt. This is effectively a coup d'état. If it's done within the government, the backing that we think, right? Okay, so if that's the case, that's treason.
Yeah.
And per the questioning we saw, granted, you guys, it's all these pieces that float out of there, but the question we saw of Graham to Kavanaugh, exactly on this subject of treason, or laws that would fall under the UCMJ versus the criminal. And it's up to the AG to make the determination of which path it takes. So there's a lot of parts to this, a lot of parts to this. And timing is a big item of it. And right now, one would say, is it necessary? Let's say before the debate isn't necessary. They're trying to hold on to Kamala as much as possible, and now she went underground to try to prepare because it ain't working.
The debate's what, the 10th?
Yes.
Which is
6 days.
I'm just trying to see what day of the week. So that's Tuesday next week. All right. We'll have to try to do something for that.
Yeah.
So kind of watch party or something. All right.
I don't know. Anyways, I'll shut up now.
No, I get what you're saying, and timing is crucial. I expected, like, after this happened, I expected this to be wielded with much more, I don't know, much heavier, I guess. Like, it was big during the whole RNC. It seemed to really play up well, and then the narrative has all but disappeared since
But what specifically?
the assassination attempt.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
it's really talked about. It's crazy. Like, it's one of the most intense things, that probably the most intense thing that has happened since Donald Trump came down the escalator. And
Well, they have to worry about their new threat, or the most serious threat, which is threats to election workers.
yeah, it's
They did you
wild.
know they had a press conference today?
So I saw this clip.
They had a press conference and they started bringing up, oh, Russia's influencing in the 2024 election.
Yeah, God.
Here,
Same
here you
play,
go.
same script.
There it
Jeez.
is.
Since the 2020 election, we have seen an unprecedented spike in threats against the public servants who do administer our elections. Election officials, workers, and volunteers in communities across the country have been targeted with heinous acts and threats of violence. The following are a few examples of successful enforcement actions that the Justice Department has taken over the past year. In New Mexico, county commissioners and other elected officials were targeted with a series of shootings that the department has alleged in court papers were organized by an unsuccessful candidate for the state legislature who claimed that the election had been, quote, rigged against him.
Candidate
At least
must
3 of
be
the
a
shootings
Democrat.
occurred while the
So,
It said if he says candidate, that means it was a Democrat, because if it was a Republican candidate, he would have said Republican candidate.
Yeah. And I'm looking at, before you continue, to his right and to his left. To his right is the next, if Kamala wins, that's the AG.
okay.
That's going to be the AG. She's in the middle of her. Let me put it this way. If you listen to others and follow her background, she is the Barsoomian that was to the legal side. Okay, so Barsoomian was the wife of Rod Rosenstein, right?
Mhm.
Okay, she is the legal aspect of that, handled all the cases for these people, including Clinton, including Miller, and Sarah. She wasn't in the DOJ, but she handled the outside for mainly the DOJ people. This one is on the inside. She's the one that coordinates a whole lot of shit. She's actually the Susan Rice within the DOJ. That one.
Okay. That's Lisa Monaco, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And on the other side, you've got none other than Mr. Christopher Wray, who, well, you guys are well aware of all of his wonderful work over the past 6 years, I'm sure. All right, let's keep this going.
intended victims or their children or their family members were at home. In February, 2 shooters who we alleged were recruited by the candidate pled guilty to carrying out the attacks. In March, the candidate himself was charged in a 13-count superseding indictment. In Arizona, a man sent a state election official a bomb threat warning that if she did not resign within 2 days, quote, the explosive device impacted in her personal space would be detonated. In March, the man was sentenced to 3.5 years in prison for making that threat. In Maricopa County, Arizona, an elections official, a county attorney, and their families were threatened by a defendant who called for, quote, a mass shooting of poll workers and election officials in precincts he believed had, quote, suspect results. His revolting comments included, quote, dead children burn into the memories of people. The county attorney who had been targeted later reported that he, his wife, and 4 children had been assigned round-the-clock protection and issued body armor in response to the threat. And the elections official who was targeted said in a victim impact statement that, quote, while I am the person directly threatened by this case, the impact of such threats is felt by a much larger community, the thousands of committed election workers who operate our democratic processes. When threats are made against any election worker, the impact reverberates throughout the entire community. That defendant was sentenced to 3.5 years in prison. In recent months, our enforcement actions have continued. In July, we secured the guilty plea of an Alabama man who repeatedly threatened to kill Maricopa County election workers and officials. In one particularly chilling message, he said, quote, "You better not come in my church, my business, or send your kids to my school. You are stupid if you think you are safe." His sentencing is scheduled for next month.
I didn't get into the Russia.
Let me show. Yeah, let me tell me, how does this compare to prior years? Because the what he just went through is of no significance if it's the same previously.
Yeah, they're trying to set up the mindset essentially that election workers should not be questioned or scrutinized, and to do
Well,
so
that
it
is fearful.
is advocating for violence against them. Is what I'm hearing is like election workers need to become a protected class.
Well, they
And
will, yeah, and but it's not because it's for the fear, so that they can. Okay, so what do the Republicans have done, and are expanding, and people being told to do? Become a monitor, become an oversight, basically a judge, if you will, right there during the counting and voting, right? This is the counter. Put the fear out there so you don't have people coming in to watch. Put the fear out there so you control who is coming in to watch.
yeah,
So
yeah.
this is fear porn, absolutely. And are they lies that what he's telling? No, but that's what I'm saying. Show me the context. Show me the relationship to what has transpired in the past. Because telling me that a guy committed a crime in New Mexico doesn't tell me anything if that happens every election cycle.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Without context, it sounds way worse. Uh,
Exactly.
Here's MSNBC talking about Russian interference.
Breaking news. The Biden administration taking a series of actions to target what they allege are attempts by Russian-backed actors to manipulate public opinion here in the U.S. ahead of the presidential election, according to two senior U.S. officials. Joining us now is NBC's Ken Delanian. Ken, what more have we learned?
Jose, this is being described by our sources as a whole of government action designed to target Russian propaganda and disinformation aimed at interfering in the 2024 election. It is said to include sanctions by the Treasury Department, law enforcement action by the Justice Department, and one of the focuses is on RT, formerly known as Russia Today, that network of Russian government-funded English-language websites and television platforms that was flagged all the way back in 2017 by the U.S. intelligence community as a vehicle for Russian disinformation and election interference. And at that time, the Justice Department required RT to register as a foreign agent. It remains to be seen exactly what actions the U.S. will take against RT today, but this does appear to represent an escalation in the efforts to try to purge the system of Russian propaganda and disinformation. What's interesting is that, look, the U.S. has been saying all along that not only Russia, but Iran and China, but particularly Russia, has been consistently trying to manipulate American public opinion with disinformation on social media platforms, use of fake accounts, and through RT, through its state-sponsored platforms, as they did in 2016. The difference now is that there are mechanisms in place, particularly on the social media platforms, to try to stop and flag fake accounts before the influence operations spread too widely. So it remains to be seen what impact this Russian disinformation is having. But nonetheless, this is a stance by the Biden administration to say if you're violating U.S. laws and policies, we're going to come after you. And Attorney General Merrick Garland is expected to chair a meeting of the government's election task force today, this afternoon, with FBI Director Chris Wray and other officials.
So there you go, Russian disinformation. So it says to me a couple of things. One, obviously, it's just rich, right? It's so rich to hear a network like MSNBC talking about like putting out disinformation and propagandizing and I mean, the level of projection is just through the roof. And I'm not saying Russia is, a perfectly, benign entity. They have their issues, but holy shit, it's crazy to hear MSNBC like sit there on their high horse talking about Russia and RT as if they aren't a million times worse with what they're doing. And yeah, like they're not completely bought and paid for by foreign entities themselves. You don't think China has, major investments and influence over channels like MSNBC and CNN and probably most of the other major networks as well. You're crazy. So the level of delusion and projection there is nuts. The other thing this tells me, guys, is that they're seeing poll numbers, and we'll get into some of the polling in the second half, and we'll talk about the race in the second half of the show today. Is they know they know they're losing. They're losing the conversation. They're losing the debate. They're losing this election. So they're already seeding this idea that it's Russian disinformation affecting the American political process because they want to have something to tell the thousands and maybe millions of crying Democrats on November 6th, right? Why Marxist Kamala lost the race after they were told over and over again that she was winning, she was winning, she was winning. Oh, it was the Russians again, get the special counsel, we need to investigate. You could already see the way they're trying to frame what's coming in November.
That is definitely an angle to the narrative, but okay, so here's patterns. The CEO of Telegram, the CEO of Rumble, Elon Musk, the CEO of Twitter via Brazil, and being celebrated by people here in the US, and I don't mean people, I mean people in government. And now you have this. RT has predominantly American guests speaking, like Lionel is one of the guys that's there a regular. And they actually produce factual information that you will not see in the American media. Now, how much is propaganda or how much is being called propaganda, as we saw with the Twitter files and things like that you couldn't let the truth out. So I'm looking at this, and it has a very large American viewership and worldwide viewership, but American viewership, RT does, particularly in the digital space, not necessarily on the TV, but in the digital space. That's another avenue to shut down. And that's what they're doing right here.
Yeah.
Right now it's the threat. Oh, if you do anything that breaks the law, well, that's the law I made up.
Yep. No, I agree with everything you said, Tian. I think you look at this a number of different angles, and you can really see what it is they're trying to do right here.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to our break. When we come back, we'll go exclusively to pilled.net, and I want to talk some polling stuff for sure. I want to talk about the SAVE Act too, and this upcoming battle that's going to happen in Congress over the continuing resolution and the SAVE Act. I think that's going to be a good conversation to get into. And I've got a handful of other things that we could pick around at for the second half of the show. So make sure you come over to pilled.net and keep hanging out with us. Like I said, we'll be going exclusively there for the 5 o'clock hour. So we'll play our little video. We'll come back on the other side, say goodbye to our other platforms, and then we'll read your gold pills as well. So if you want to get some gold pills going there in the chat, now's a great time to load them up. We'll read through those, and then we'll continue on with the conversation in hour number 2. We'll be right back.
Pill.net is proud to host 412 Productions, exclusively on the true home of free speech. To continue watching the show, we are here to help you over to Pilled. If you're new to the platform, just click on the welcome link provided. It will then automatically walk you through signing up for your free account. If you already have a Pill.net account, follow the link provided directing you straight to 412 Productions channel. We are excited to have you join the Pilled family, and if you have any questions at all, please email support@Pill.net. Enjoy the rest of 412 Productions on Pill.net. Free speech lives here.
All right, welcome back, everybody. And again, as always, a big "we love you" thank you to all of you out there who have made your way over to the comfy bunker to keep watching on Pill.net for hour number 2. We always appreciate you guys who do that. Those of you who aren't going to jump over and that's where we leave you today. No worries. I'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern time. I'll be having our good friends Frankie Val of the Quite Frankly Show and Zach Payne of Red Pill 78 on with me for Taking It Back, syndicated by our good friends over on Badlands Media. Friday, I will not be here, but the show will go on. Drunk Pinata and Tian Homesteader are going to host the show right here at our normal time without me. Why won't I be here? I'll be traveling northeast to New York City, where I'm going to be sitting in studio for an installment of Quite Frankly on Friday night. I'm super excited for that. It's something I've been wanting to do for quite a while, and it's going to happen on Friday the 6th, 7 p.m. Eastern time. I'll be in studio with Frankie Val over at the old Parachute Factory, which I'm very, very excited for. So I hope you guys will all show up and hang out with us on Friday night. And yeah, that's going to be a blast. No Saturday show this week as I'll be traveling back. And then we'll be back on the following Monday to kick off our regular schedule of shows. And I have in pencil right now Woke Society, Scott DeGroat, joining us on Monday next week, although I have to confirm with him probably day of because he's got just a lot going on right now, and I'm just not sure what his availability is going to be week to week. So hopefully we'll get Scott up here on Monday. We'll see what happens, but other than that, yeah, it's going to be a fun rest of the week. So jump on over to Pill.net if you want to keep watching with us here in hour number 2. Otherwise, I hope you have an amazing rest of your Wednesday and hope to see you guys tomorrow at 4 p.m. for another installment of Taking It Back.